Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Welcome back. Yep, it's that time again. The older man has seen something that triggers his interests.
My last video, I was speaking to the amount of black men that are currently in Cartagena.
And I think it's something that's very interesting for men to learn. You know, guys, I've been doing around 8 consultation chats per week. This is something where you can go to my website, askanolderman.com, and you can book a call with me where I can talk to you one-on-one. I'm just a man that has been around a while, and I take on more of a daddy role. I think critically, I think logically, I don't get my emotions involved. And so if you just want an older man's opinion on life and problems that you're going through right now, by all means, book a session. I've made it very inexpensive. It wouldn't cost you any more money if you took me out to buy me a cup of coffee and you and I sat down, had a cup of coffee and had a sandwich. That's it. That's how inexpensive it is. But the reason I tell you this is because the large majority of conversations, and when I mean large majority, it's men who have problems with Western women. 90% of them are the females cheating. The other 10% is just the woman giving so much trouble that the man is at his wit's end. He's had enough. But the amount of infidelity from women where men just don't know what to do, whether they're married or they're emotionally involved already, it's a serious problem. And a lot of times, these men just feel like they don't have any other choices with women in their country, in the West. Most of the calls are coming from the West. Yeah. So I tell you this because a lot of times men just feel like, what do? I want to have a family, I want to have a wife, and I want to have kids. There's so many eligible black men out there, tall, good-looking guys with average jobs, but these women are a problem in the West. And so when men ask me for a solution, what should I do? I have no choice but to say, get a passport, my friend. Get a passport and find other options. I have no other choice. Because if these men can't find what they want, they have to also realize that there are other options. And if you want something as a man, don't ever feel that you should just take the easiest option. Getting on a plane, moving, or going and looking at another country. Listen, find the passport bros online. There's a lot of guys out there online that could give you good advice on where to go. I see a lot of black men coming through this area, going up to the Philippines, Thailand, a lot of Asian countries, a lot of black men. It's insane. Usually when you get men coming this far out from the West, because you got to imagine, it's going to take you around, if it's a cheap flight, it's going to take you around 24 hours to get here, 24 to 26 hours. If it's a direct flight, it'll take you around 12 to 15 hours to get over here. Whereby if you're in the West, meaning in America, not the UK, but if you're in America, then, you got all the Latin American countries in the area, Colombia, Argentina, Cuba. All of those countries have amazingly beautiful women that want a man, that want a good man. Because you got to realize, my friends, that you're not high value in America making an average salary, but your salary in another country, you're high value, my friend. You're rich as hell. They'll be happy to get on your program. All I'm saying to you, gentlemen, is that you have choices. That's it. So I came across this video earlier, and I want to basically make the ladies understand the severity of this problem. Because I've seen videos on women talking about the amount of men coming to the Philippines. And I found this woman online. She's a travel blogger, and she was talking about the amount of men that she sees coming to Cartagena. Okay, so let's listen to her. Let's hear what she has to say.
Y'all, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if you're looking for a man, just know that the reason you can't find him, a black man specifically, is because he's in Colombia already. He's in Colombia already, y'all. So this is the first time I've come to Colombia, like post pandemic. So like seeing it, it's like
So she said, I thought all of these passport bros were dusty, but now she's seen it. She's seen the amount of men in one place on a plane going to one country, and it opened her eyes. Think about this. This idea that a man is dusty. I mean, it's a derogatory term, literally for men who don't work in white collar jobs. That's technically what it is. All of those guys who are plumbers, carpenters, construction workers, those guys that get down and dirty in the sewers, those guys make money. They're not dusty. They got dusty jobs, but that's it. These guys go home, clean up. They can go into any other store and buy you nice stuff just like anyone else. But why would men put up with your insults in your country when he could easily jump on a plane, pop over to Colombia, and find women who are on his program? That's the reality of life, ladies. But don't take my word for it. Let's finish listening to this woman.
form of like what the numbers are looking like. And when I tell you that my whole life was full of it was full of black men traveling with other black men. They come into Colombia, baby. That's why you can't find them. They're all here.
They come into Colombia, baby. That's why you can't find them. All of these women who are complaining to me about, oh, I can't find any good black men over here. All the men are like feminine. Those are the ones that are left. That's the problem. They've left. The ones that are left in America are the very high net worth individual men who have to pick of the litter, or the Pookies and the Ray Ray who got a criminal record. They can't get a passport. They can't go anywhere, right? And they're the ones that have 5, 6, 7, 8 baby mothers. That's what's left. But your average guy, and I hate how black Americans love to go on about, oh, the majority of our men are in prison. That is absolutely false. Look at the stats. The stats do not back up your statement. The majority of men, the majority of eligible male, young black American men, anywhere between the ages of 21 to 35, the majority of them are single, childless, educated, and not in prison.
So just to be clear, what made this very interesting to me, and this is not my first time in Cartagena. However, my first time in Cartagena was during the pandemic, and so it just wasn't nearly as busy. So this was my first time experiencing Colombia, I think it was a extremely large amount of black men. And for reference, I'm a full-time travel content creator, which means I am traveling all around the world, often on flights all the time. And I can honestly say that it is very rare for me to see a large number of black men on a flight that I'm on. It is very, 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 very rare. So to arrive and have a flight full of men, but also to see other flights full of men, and the customs line was crazy long. So when I say that there were black men everywhere, I literally mean there were black men everywhere. But what was the most jarring to me is the realization that I think there's a lot of discourse on the internet, and there's a lot of people that are like, oh, it's just dusties, it's just broke men, it's just men that other women wouldn't date. I saw lots of very attractive men. I saw lots of men who looked like they had means. They looked like they had their stuff together. They were dressed well. They had good luggage. Like,
there is clearly a subculture of passport bros that have no issues dating the women they want in the US and also enjoy something exotic as well. Yeah, you'll get that. You'll get those guys, who venture outside just for some different flavor. I've been there, just telling you. But the point is that the majority of men that are making these moves as passport bros are men who are looking to settle down and they can't find wives in their own backyard. That's the problem. Let's continue.
These were not men that you're just like, oh, girl, nobody wants them. And so for me, the video really just came from the actual shock of, oh, y'all really be outside with it. Y'all are really coming to Colombia, and this is the type of time that you're on. And I say that because I didn't just see men like, okay, cool, like you're going to Colombia with your homeboys. What was the most shocking to me as I was waiting for my Uber, there were women in club dresses picking up men, and the time was very much like, oh, you've been here before, but it's your homeboy's first time, and she brought somebody for him. And that had me like, oh, okay. And, you know, I see that there's a lot of commentary about what Black women look like or people's shapes and sizes. And yes, like some of the Colombian women that I've seen are beautiful, and some of them are mid and some of them are not. And I think women all over the world look different ways and have different body types. And so it's super fascinating to me, the energy that is just rooted in, oh, well, you know, the reason why Black men are going to Colombia is because Black women are not desirable. That's wild and egregious. Ain't nobody got time for that. But also too, I will say, as a woman who's been in Colombia, I also feel like the energy of men here is just predatory. I was at dinner last night and a table full of men came up to myself and the two girls that I was having dinner with. And the energy was very much like, what's up with it? Come through. We got a boat tomorrow. And these weren't Black men. These were men from Mexico, men from North Carolina who were white men, and men from other parts of South America. And the energy was very much just like, we're here for a good time, not a long time. And I feel like, you know, that is the energy of men traveling to Colombia. And what's even more interesting is that all the Black men that I saw at the airport, I ain't seen none of them in the streets. And I would only assume that's because they laying down somewhere.
So obviously, the country is making a lot of money off of these guys. Of course, any country who gets an influx of people who come there to spend money are happy to have them. And these are dollars. These are US dollars. It's not pesos and rupees and whatever other weaker currency. American money is one of the strongest currency. That means that these men can go into these countries and based on the exchange rate, they are no longer broke according to female standards in the West. They're no longer average. And that's one thing about, I've done the whole travel tourist bit. I've been to countries numerous times and I've had girlfriends in different countries. And there's no greater joy than when I go to Panama. I used to love going to Panama back in the day. And you have a girlfriend over there. And I would come with my friends and I would call her and tell her, sis, listen, I'm coming with my friends. You know, you have any nice girls that could, you know, that you could set my friend up. And see, papi, no problem. And she would show up with some fine friends where I'm going, why the hell didn't I meet her before? Why didn't I meet her before you? Almost. So my point is that these women have no problem bringing out and showing off their beautiful friends, their beautiful girlfriends. But in the West, these women who try to set their girlfriends up, they always bring out some huge heifer that can't compete with her because she needs to stay on top. But in a lot of Latin American countries, these women don't care. They will bring out their fine friends just to impress you. That's how secure they are with themselves. Just a side note, the reason why men go to these places is because the options in their own home are not to their standards. And the problem is women feel that, oh, if all of us act like hoes, all of us act like we're boss bitches, and all of us demand the same thing, the men are now forced to come under our rule and what we command. And men are basically saying, no, I am the consumer. We are the ones that are going to pay the price when you marry us and then leave us 6 years later and take half of our shit under a no-fault divorce. And plus, you're going to be disagreeable, you're going to be combative, you're going to be disloyal, because all of the signs are there. We're looking at the majority of women who are doing this. And ladies, you need to basically fix this yourselves. Otherwise, black women are going to all die alone. You'll have your dogs and your cats and you have your trips. And I can tell you, guys, I see them over here in the malls 24/7. The tourist trips coming through, single black women, huge women just parading through the malls, man. And I hate to say it, man. Wow. My sisters, you guys need to get your health under control. There should be absolutely no reason a woman should be 250 to 300 pounds. Like Mr. Kevin Samuels used to say, they look like linebackers, but unhealthy linebackers. It's scary seeing it. It really is. Every time I see an American comes through to Dubai, you can easily just say, that's an American. Not because of how they look, because black people look pretty much the same as African people. But the difference between women who come from Africa and women who come from the West is the size, the massive size of the woman. It isn't a little bit. The women are massive. And listen, I'm not saying that the white Americans aren't the same. I will only talk for my people. I'm not going to be criticizing any other culture or any other race. I'm going to stick to my black people. That's it. I got black daughters. I'm talking about my people, my family. Other people can talk about theirs. But I am concerned about my people. That's why I talk about it. Not saying it's you exclusively, but you're the only people I'm concerned about in this instance. Because I want a better black people. Because what you guys don't understand is when one black person messes up, it's okay. When a lot of black people mess up, it affects me. We are all affected because now we get all lumped in the same boat.
Pro-black, that's great. But every time you leave the house, your actions reflect upon black people, whether you like it or not. Doesn't matter if it's fair. And you can even argue that it's not fair. That's not the point. If I wear Big 3 on my uniform and I go into a nightclub and I get to throwing bottles or I get to disrespecting the waitresses, or that reflects on Cube, that reflects on the Big 3. And now every other athlete that comes in there, for those people that work there, they're going to have a built-in memory of what happened. And right now, black people have embraced the violence that spawned out in our communities all across the country. So any of you black folks out there with a degree, you went to the HBCU and you're educated and we are not all like that. It's like, well, you let the anti-Jews promote you like that.
Oh, we're all drug dealers. Oh, they're all violent. Oh, all the women are just aggressive. Because you guys got to understand, the person who makes the loudest noise become the center of attention. If you become the center of attention, you then represent a large amount of people, even though they might be the minority. That large amount of, that 10% of the population who's making the most noise, they sound like 100% of us. So we all get lumped in as the drug dealers, the rappers, the basketball players. You know, I was in China. I'm only 6 feet. But to a Chinese, I'm tall. I remember at that time I had bald my head. I had shaved my head. And, you know, I was going through this look. And you know how many times I got called Michael Jordan? Ah, Michael Jordan, basketball player. Ha, 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 ha. Because they were looking up at me. And I remember going during one of these Chinese New Year celebrations, and there were a lot of people coming out of the villages. You know, there were a busload of people coming into the city. I was in Shanghai. I was just hanging out with one of my brothers there who had gone there to open a business. And We're basically walking on the street, the only two black people in sight, just towering over a sea of shorter people just on the streets. And we had people pointing, going crazy. But all the school kids, Michael Jordan, basketball player, basketball, NBA. Because black people are representing over there at that time in the NBA. That's what they saw on TV. So we get lumped in, regardless of where we're from, we get lumped in based on our race. That's why we have common traits from Chinese. We talk like Chinese. The Indians. Every single race have this problem. So when black people represent, we all get hurt. That's what you guys got to understand. It's not a joke. I don't talk about this just for the sake of talking about it. I have a personal interest. I got 2 daughters I got to protect. 2 young teenagers that are going to be lumped in with you guys that are really messing up the program. That's what I'm talking about. So this is just one woman talking about one incident. And I got to play this other video that basically shows a woman who just starting to understand that there's a problem. She lays it out quite well.
When I found out about it, it was on TikTok. And, I'm getting like the man's and the woman's view. Mm-hmm. And the woman's view is not very kind.
They're upset.
Yeah, it's like, and then like men see the woman's reaction. And of course, it kind of seems like maybe they're getting triggered, which is a high potential, I think, that, they're not liking it because like, why do men need to go somewhere else just because what does that say? That women here are not good enough? And I think that's like where that triggered feeling is coming from.
It's starting to become a huge thing. It's going to hit the mainstream media soon. But I know black women are feeling it because more and more videos are coming out showing black women not very happy about it.
Black women do not have a problem with the passport bros. What we have a problem with is on black women as a reason to go over to take advantage of women who are not financially stable. You're going over there to find somebody who's going to treat you like a king in all your mediocrity. Don't blame us for that.
I gotta go off of what I've seen. They cater to you to a T. I know someone that has married someone and brought her over here. It looks like she's out of magazine.
She would be a model over here, right? Do you think if she was born in America, she would be with him?
No, she would not be with him.
Do you know why? Because they're poor. Y'all are taking advantage of these women, blaming us. Black women are this, black women are that, as if we're causing you to take advantage of these women. Leave us the out of it.
Because they're poor. I want to try to explain this one thing to you guys. And I want you guys to look at this rationally. This woman just concluded that the woman living in Colombia who don't have any debt, she might not have the best house to stay in. She probably still staying with her parents' house, right? Until she finds a husband, right? The thing is, passport bros know the rules of this game. You do not take the woman back to America. That would be your biggest mistake. You buy a home in the home country of the woman, right? You and her get married there, not under Western rules, and you have your child there, and you keep your family there. If you have to go back and forth, because I know I have an Egyptian friend right here in Dubai. He's married to a Filipino. He has 2 kids, beautiful girl. He has an amazing house back in the Philippines, in one of the best areas. But he makes his money here. He flies back and forth to the Philippines. All right? Every 6 weeks, he's back home. He has his own little business here. But he makes so much money here, and when you convert it from dirhams to, I think, pesos in the Philippines, she's living on the hog, taking care of his 2 kids, sending them to school, mortgage paid for every month, everything is paid for. She's living well back in the Philippines, and he goes back and forth. That's the way it works. Same thing, Colombia. You have your nice house in Colombia, all the fresh vegetables and all, everything is there. Everything is inexpensive. You're making your average salary back in the States. The best bet is to actually have a remote job. Not a lot of men can have remote jobs, meaning stay in Colombia and be able to work online and still make American dollars. That would be the best case scenario, right? But either way, don't bring the woman back to America. That would be your biggest mistake, because once that feminism gets in her soul, my friend, once she catches that virus, it's all over. This woman said that the woman is poor. The majority of these women are so deep in debt. The credit card bills, all of the adornments that these women have to put on to look good. Colombian women don't need a wig. They already got the good hair. All right? Most of them already have the beautiful olive skin and the nice lashes, etc. They keep themselves in good shape. They understand how the game is played. They don't need the long ass nails. This is an American crap. They don't need to go out and get their nails done every 9-10 days. Oh, I need the gels and the juice and this and the gelish. I listen to my wife and these things, right? And it's just nuts, the amount of money that these women spend on themselves just to compare themselves to other women.
People say that traveling is expensive, and guess what? They're right, man. Traveling is expensive, but on the other hand, y'all, I haven't bought high-end makeup in a while. I don't have $300 bundles of anything. I'm not wearing designer brands. I cook my food at night. Like, I'm making sacrifices to do things that bring me value and that level me up. And traveling is one of them. You want to get leveled up? Book a flight. Go somewhere that puts you out of your comfort zone. Do things that scare you. Do things that are out of the norm. Do things that people tell you you can't do. Do them.
These women don't do that back in their foreign countries. They're humble women. Most of them are humble. You get a nice, humble wife who understands your program, and she's listening to you. And she's so grateful. She's so grateful for having you give her this life, because the men in that country can't. She's found a goose that laid a golden egg. She's going to nurture that goose. So you tell me, if you have a devoted, submissive, agreeable, beautiful wife with your kids sitting in a foreign country, now you can go back and forth freely, right? You have a great house, because the kind of house you can buy in Colombia for a fraction of the cost of what you can buy a little apartment for in America, you can have a 3-4 bedroom house there. Who's winning? You and your wife. This woman can scream all she wants about how poor these women are and how you're taking advantage of her. But these women are laughing at these women.
It tells the truth about passport bros and why American women are mad.
Hi, good morning. So I woke up with all these videos of women attacking the passport bros. Oh wait, let me just take a sip of the coffee that my passport boyfriend made me. As I was saying, when you really don't care why they had to fly abroad to find a wife, a girlfriend, then why are you making all these hate videos? If you don't care at all, why are you reacting that way? You girls making these content, saying all these nasty words against the women who were brought by the Western guy to their countries is just an example why they don't want you.
But these women in Colombia, the Philippines, they are laughing. Anyway, listen, guys, I don't want to drag this out too much. Subscribe, hit that subscribe button. Come on, guys. Let's get this channel up to 100,000 subs. I'm fast approaching, but I really need you guys' help to get me to that next level. All right? If you're enjoying the knowledge, if you're enjoying the information, of course, don't hesitate. Drop me a super thanks below, or buy me a cup of coffee. The link is also there in the description. So listen, guys, I am hoping to grow and help you guys as much as possible. All right? Of course, get in the comment section. Let's have a discussion. Let's try to keep our people and our brains together. Let's not fall for this whole media trap. Let's not fall for this crazy world. If we all collectively start to change, and ladies, I'm talking to you, if you would start changing your direction by getting out there and telling other women what they should do, we can turn this around. We can get families back together again. You can get your men back. It isn't difficult, but you have to identify that you're losing. You're not winning. If you think being alone when you're in your 40s, 50s, and 60s, 70s, you think traveling alone to another country is nice? The only reason we want to travel is that actually share your experience with someone else. It's like going to a good movie. Imagine going to a good movie and you saw this great movie and you get home and you have no one to talk to about it. There's no one to share that experience. Then what's the sense of experiencing on your own? Part of the enjoyment is to share it. That's why social media is so big. Just so you can think what's happening. This is the psychology of the thing. Sharing your life and your experiences is part of the human experience. So that's why it's important to have someone special to share it with. You know, yesterday I was shooting a video with a client in the mall, one of the malls here in Dubai. There was a group of tourists going across, and this one guy looks me in the eye, and he said, "Oh man, I know you. You're the older man." And I'm looking at the guy, he's like, yeah, man, how are you? And he said, "Oh man, love your content, man." And I'm like, "Oh, Jesus, man." I said, "Where are you from?" He said, "I'm from Detroit." Calls his wife over, she shakes my hand, and I'm like, wow, that's amazing that I'm all the way over here in Dubai, and this one random guy over here in Dubai taking a trip, he actually recognized me. And I'm like, wow, the channel is getting bigger. It made me feel, I was a bit kind of, shook up because I don't like too much attention, believe it or not, But the reason I tell you this, I couldn't wait to share this information with my wife, call her, and of course she's like, "Yeah, so you think you're famous now? Yeah, you think you're famous? All right, let's calm that down there. Where's the money?" I have a cool wife, man. Point is, she likes to humble me, which is good. She keeps me grounded. I love that. But the point I'm trying to make to you guys is that I had an experience that was exciting, and I couldn't wait to tell my wife and my kids. My girls also laughed at me, right? But the point is, you need people in your life that you love and love you to share your experiences with. So when you ladies think that you can do it on your own and you don't need a man and you don't need someone special and you can do it all, it's a lie that you have been told, that you believed, and it's never too late to turn that around. Turn it around. Okay? All right, guys, I'm going to finish it up there. And always remember, whenever you're in doubt, always ask an older man. All right? See you in the next one. Cheers.